Cousins. We got a little MLB on the table, quarterbacks, everything else. Let me just do a couple of minutes here on the college basketball. A couple of themes that I want to get to here for a minute or so, and then get right back to your calls, whatever you wish. Jay Billis will join us this hour. This is a good week in college basketball. The college basketball season, in a lot of ways, for the average fan, which I will put my hand up. I'm not the average basketball fan, but I'm the average college basketball fan. Not basketball in general, but in college. They play too many games. There's not enough juice on the games. The season doesn't start to right about now. I mean, we all know the reasons. Plus, there's a lot of hypocrisy. You throw that in the mix, too. That drives you crazy. But right now, these are a good couple weeks. You had the Big Ten tournament, which was a week earlier this year, which gave you a little sense. I watched a few of those. I watched the game on Sunday, which unfortunately didn't have any juice to it. The game Saturday with Michigan State, I guess, had a lot of life to it. The game Sunday was flat as a pancake. Maybe they both were in a tournament with Purdue. Who knows what the reason was, but it wasn't a juicy game. And John Beilein will join us tomorrow, by the way, but the Michigan coach. But the bottom line is this is a good time of the year for college basketball. You got all the conference tournaments. If you like the little guy, you have the Radfords. You got the Lipscomb, who turned out to be Florida Gulf Coast. You certainly have Iona, who won again, beating last night Fairfield. You got one tonight, Wagner against LIU. So, I mean, if you like that, this is a good time of the year. So you got the NCAA excitement. This is their NCAA tournament for these little schools in these little conferences this week, because this is their chance to get an opportunity to play with the big boys. And they play in packed little arenas. There's a lot of atmosphere. It's fun. So you have that going on. And then you have, obviously, afternoon games on the docket as far as in big arenas, in big conferences. I mean, you have games, obviously, going on right now in Brooklyn, 10 minutes from here, via train, or 20 minutes from here, with early on in the day. You got a game tonight in Syracuse. You have games at Madison Square Garden shortly, not today, but tomorrow with Georgetown. You have, you got games tonight all over America. You got SEC starting. The Big Ten's done, so he put them away. They wanted to play in the Garden, so they condensed their schedule to get the conference tournament done in New York. So they did that. They couldn't get the arena this week because the Big East has a contract. So, I mean, if from a standpoint of arenas, lots of afternoon games, you can find teams, even in the big conferences, that have to win. There's some juice. And then, of course, you have the Sunday deal, and then you have next week, where the first weekend is phenomenal. Next week, Thursday, with all the games, 16. Friday, the 15th of March, Thursday. The next day, the 16th. Those 2 days, you play 32 games of the tournament, and then you have the weekend. That's a great college basketball smorgasbord for a 4-day period. Then it dies, and then it will pick up a little bit the following weekend, and then it dies, and then you have a good Saturday here before Easter. You have the Final Four. So it's a good time right now for the sport. To me, it's these 2 weeks where there's an amazing amount of games. Most teams are playing for their lives. Not all, but some, like, Notre Dame is playing right now, winning by 8 in the second half. They have to win some games, probably a lot of them. But you get the idea. So there is some juice here in college basketball. Now, the problem that college basketball has, they got a couple things right now that they're going to have to deal with here in the next, whatever it might be. First off, they got the cloud of the FBI investigation. Now, it sounds like ESPN did not get the story right. I guess Sports Illustrated pounded ESPN for getting that story wrong regarding Shawn Miller paying the player. He was so defiant. He didn't answer questions. He did it on his own terms. He gave you a statement and then he left. So it wasn't like it was an open-ended, let's fire away and ask Shawn Miller what he really thinks. He told us and he left the building. But he was defiant, and unless he wants to pull a Rafael Palmeiro lecturing Congress and then he finds out he had steroid use the next day, you have to assume that he did not pay the player $100,000, the big kid from the Bahamas, to play at Arizona. But the cloud of the FBI investigation is here, and even though the tournament is a big enough event to overcome that cloud, it is still there. It is still in the mix, and it is still in the background. And, there is going to be part of us watching these games wondering, if there is a level playing field regarding how these teams procured these players. Now, you can argue, as we have a lot in the last couple of weeks, about if this is a big deal or not. Paying these players when the college coaches make $5, $6, $7, $8 million a year, is it that big a deal? I understand. It's a lot of hypocrisy. The FBI should be more worried about Parkland shootings than they should worry about what players are getting paid. But, I mean, it's still, if you're a college basketball fan, you like to go into this time of the year with a sort of gooey feeling, a little romantic feeling, and you don't have that right now because of the FBI thing. That's the first thing. Second thing is, and this is something that I get into, and I don't expect a lot of other people to care that much because the college basketball fan will find this anyway. The college basketball this year is going to be a TBS event. Now, remember, they make about $1 billion a year, and CBS, who has owned the rights since the, 92, I believe it is, and has televised these Final Fours forever. They got it from NBC. I shouldn't say 92. They owned it 80. I think maybe, let's see, first year maybe in 82. 82. I'm off 10 years. 82. Brent left in 92 or 91. The contract was owned by NBC until 81, and then CBS took over. This is going to be a different feel with this tournament. This is now a cable event. The selection show is on TBS. The games, a lot of them on the weekends are on TBS. The Final Four is on TBS. The championship game, I can double check it, but I believe the title game on April 3rd is a TBS affair. And you're going to sit there and say, what difference does it make if the college basketball fan's going to find the games? Yeah, you are, but any big event starts to take off when the casual fan gets drawn to it, and the casual fan is not going to be drawn to TBS to watch the NCAA basketball tournament. I guarantee it, you are going to have your friend, your wife's friends, you're going to have a lot of people contact you and ask you where the games are. Well, where are the games? What channel? TBS. You had that issue with True TV. You're going to have that issues again. It's a major problem. Now, I bring it up more so because even on Sunday, on Selection Sunday, TBS has changed the way they're going to televise it. It's 2 hours, starts at 6, and because they have nothing else of note on TBS, which they don't, because nobody watches TBS, nobody, and nobody watches that network, and because of that, and CBS has 60 Minutes they want to get you to at 7 o'clock, they will go the extra hour, TBS, and they're going to change the way we are used to, the fans who get into it, are used to watching Selection Sunday, because this year, and I remember Selection Sunday being a 10-minute show 30, 40 years ago. This year, they are going to do it in such a way where they are going to announce all 68 teams and then bracket the teams. So they're going to tell you who is in the tournament first, and then they're going to put the teams up with the brackets. Prior years, they did a bracket at a time, right down the line. So you didn't know if St. Mary's, per se, was in the tournament until you got through that fourth bracket. This time, I'm assuming relatively quickly at 6:15 Eastern Time, they are going to tell you who the 68 teams are, go through all the teams that got snubbed, do all that stuff, and then eventually get to the brackets. Now, they say they're going to get to the brackets in the 1 hour. I'm going to have to believe, I'll believe that when I see it, because the advantage that TBS has that ESPN does not have, ESPN is out of college basketball beginning Sunday at 1 o'clock. They're done. They're finished. You don't need them. They're out because the games are not there. They go televise the NIT, and they can send a crew to the Final Four, but they're out. They are not part of it anymore. You might go there to see the post game. You want to hear what Billis has to say, but they're out. It's not their event. It's TBS's event. And it will be although they claim they're going to get to it in an hour, and you're not going to have to wait for 2 hours, I will believe that when I see it, because TBS would love nothing better than to bury ESPN with extending the brackets and showing that last one at 5 to 8. Because remember, ESPN cannot go to any brackets until TBS does it first. This is the way this works. So ESPN can't give you a bracket before TBS can. TBS spent $1 billion for the brackets. ESPN did not. So we'll see how TBS handles that. But there's a couple things that are going to be interesting. I think the TBS hurts the tournament, and I think this the black cloud hurts the tournament, and we'll see how this develops here as we move it along. Nice to have you with us on a busy afternoon. We'll get your calls in a sec. We come back. Don't go away.